I'm live. Hey, look, there are already people there and they're already saying stuff, and I can't see it. Not talking about it right now. We'll talk about it later. Hi, everybody. Thanks for being here. We'll go in a couple minutes, maybe less. A couple of things really quickly. I forgot to charge my iPad, and I'm using that for my notes. Donna's here. Frank's here. Web Bixby's here. Just got an email saying I'm live. I feel like maybe I should do something about that. Not the email, the being live part. Michael T. Rose. Well, now I'm nervous. These other people didn't make me nervous, but Michael T. Rose, maybe Mike T. Rose. We don't know. Just because it says it is doesn't mean it actually is. Right. Hey, there are more people here than normal, which is great because I've got less than I normally do. Bam. You're welcome, America and the planet. Right. Here we go. Missing the beats, and 5G is a really tall piece of cake. It is Monday, the 12th of October, 2020, and this is macOS Ken Live. Did I say 2020? I think I did. And I also didn't say my name. By golly. Fourth weekend, it's starting to feel like a thing. Hi, I'm Ken Ray, welcoming you into another edition of macOS Ken Live. The one that, you almost don't want to do or need to do because who knows what's going to be said tomorrow that's going to make everything that we talk about today seem silly. Well, one thing we're going to talk about today is very silly. Yeah. Second half of the show, there is a weird promotion from T-Mobile that makes 5G both confusing and kind of tasty. At least maybe, if you get your hands on it. I say it's a weird promotion, but we're talking about it. So, yeah. First thing, though, something to set tongues a-wagging once again, something to make people wonder what the heck is going to happen tomorrow. You know about the thing tomorrow, right? Tomorrow is the Apple event. Which one is it? High Speed. That's right. The last one was Time Flies, which was about to watch. Tomorrow's is High Speed, which is, of course, about the 5G iPhones. All of them. All four, according to most people. Ming-Chi Kuo thinks there are going to be four. He thinks the Goldilocks phone is the one that's going to do it, the middle phone. Although it's interesting, we'll talk about this on tomorrow's macOS Ken. The original article that I had from Apple Insider said, here's what Ming-Chi Kuo thinks. Came across an article theoretically covering the same note today from Mac Rumors, except Mac Rumors says, here's what Ming-Chi Kuo thinks Apple thinks, which may seem like a subtle distinction. Maybe they're two different notes. I don't know. Anyway, he's still all about I call it the Goldilocks phone, the sort of the middle phone, even though they're going to be four now. So it's kind of hard to peg the middle. But the iPhone 12 is the one that he thinks is going to be the big seller. Or does he? Apple thinks it's going to be the big seller. There was more nuance in the Mac Rumors story than there was in Apple Insider. Maybe the difference, though, is people writing on the weekend, which actually brings us to our first story. Did you hear that the Beats page on Apple Store is gone? Well, don't look, because it's back now. Apple watching sites exploded on Monday with news that the dedicated page for Beats hardware was gone from Apple's online store, and it was gone. It is, however, back now. But you know how explosions are. Yeah, you hear that. You don't hear, no, it's okay, we fixed everything. What you hear is just, boom. Which, in fairness, we've been hearing about the possibility of this boom coming for quite a while. The first mention that I caught of the disappearance of the Beats site was on the Mac Observer. And they actually pointed to an Apple terminal report. What's really funny is apparently the site was gone for like 3 days before anybody noticed that it wasn't there. Apple Terminal reported that a working version of the page was last archived by the Wayback Machine on the 2nd of October, and then the screenshot for the 9th of October showed no page there. So the 9th was last Friday. It was Monday morning before anybody said, hang on a second, what happened to all the Beat stuff? And apparently Apple caught wind of that because they were like, no, it's right here. Here is the page that you're talking about. It is right here. Not weird at all that it disappeared the day before an event that some people say is going to include a bunch of audio stuff. I don't want to be that guy, but how can you not be that guy when this happens just a few days before Apple's next event? There have been rumors going around this year, or supposition going around this year, that Apple is going to kill the Beats branding. I think that's bunk. There's too much money invested in the Beats branding. There are too many people who are tied to the Beats brand. Apple spent what, 3 billion, 4 billion, I can't remember, to get Beats. And part of that was getting Beats Music, which is crazy because there were less than 200,000 subscribers to Beats Music. But part of the money they spent was to get Beats Music. Part of it was to get Dre and Jimmy Iovine. I don't remember if Dre's still involved now. I know Jimmy Iovine left like a year or two ago. I don't know that anybody who was originally there for Beats Music is still around. I don't know that anybody who was originally there for Beats Hardware is still around, honestly, but there are still people who buy Beats. So why would the page disappear? There's talk of Apple doing their, I mean, they've already got AirPods. They've already got AirPods Pro. There's talk of Apple doing a pair of over-the-ear headphones, I think called like AirPods Studio, which makes no sense because they're not AirPods at that point. They're Air cans, but okay. Apparently they could run a price between $350 and $600. I could see Apple removing Beats' place of prominence on the website. I can't see them killing the brand name. What's interesting is while the dedicated page for Beats headphones had disappeared, you could still get Beats hardware in Apple's store because it's still Apple hardware. And I think there's just no way. I shouldn't say no way because that's the kind of thing that gets repeated to you forever and ever and ever. But I just can't imagine them getting rid of it. And what's funny is I went to look online for another store for Beats. Beats.com apparently belongs to somebody who will sell it to you for some amount of money. I went there and it was like a bunch of different websites that I guess you could probably buy if you had a ton of money. I don't understand why Apple didn't buy it or didn't get it. Beats by Dre, though, is still a store dedicated to Beats by Dre. It's still dedicated to their hardware. It's still dedicated to that lifestyle. And when I say that lifestyle, I mean in the same way that Nike is a lifestyle. I think there are some who think of Beats as a lifestyle, and I certainly think that Beats presents itself as a lifestyle. So there's a whole page still there. It's just not an Apple site, which makes perfect sense to me because while some people might be going to Apple's site to buy Beats hardware, I think people who are really into the whole Beats ecosystem are just getting that where they can. I don't think anybody's looking to Apple for what they should do about Beats. I think people who want Beats headphones are getting Beats headphones. I think they're going to everything from a low-end retailer, sorry, no offense, a low-end retailer like Best Buy, the high-end retailers, to, yes, the Apple Store. And I feel certain the Apple Store will still have Beats headphones available. Apple AirPods Pro Max Core might take, place of pride or place of prominence. Anyway, we'll find out about all this stuff tomorrow. Oh, there was one other thing from the Mac Rumors site. And this is actually interesting. Mac Rumors says it's independently observed a gradual removal of all links to Beats support website from Apple's own support pages. And it says Apple also quietly retired the Beats Updater utility that lets users update the firmware of their Beats wireless headphones, earphones, and speakers. But that's not completely true. They're opting for over-the-ear now, or over-the-air, excuse me. So it's not like you can't still update your hardware. You just can't update it the way you did before. And I think for Android devices, you still do whatever you did before. I think there might still be an updater for that. I can't remember. Anyway, Mac Rumors did go on to say these moves all point to Apple readying itself for new product launches in the audio category. Rumors indicate Apple is working on several new audio products, including a smaller, low-cost HomePod and high-end over-the-ear Apple-branded headphones that could be called AirPods Studio. Did I say AirPods Pro? That'll be next year. For people with really big ears, it'll be the AirPods Pro Studio Max. And then a couple of years from now, they'll have the AirPods Pro Studio Mini, which will just be freaking AirPods. The naming conventions are getting a little crazy, seems to me. It's possible all this was just a mistake. It's possible all of this was a mistake. I can't imagine that Apple would just do it to troll everybody. Although it's been a long time since we didn't know what was going to happen in an Apple event, it would be kind of funny if they were like, yeah, no, let's just mess with them. Just mess with them. We'll just take away the Beats thing. They'll think something's going to happen. And then tomorrow, yeah. Anyway, we may know nothing about that. There may be no announcement about over the ear anything tomorrow. Feels like there's going to be an audio something because, of course, you did also have Apple removing all of the third, not all, maybe all, I don't know, removing a lot of third party audio hardware from its site. So headphones from Bose and speakers from Sonos and Bose. And there was one more that I can't remember who, but that's all gone. Feels like something's coming in the audio space. It would be funny, also possible if Apple did that just as a press release. We got no time for that at the quote live end quote event. So we're going to do these, even though I don't think so, because, it's all video production. They can tell you more in 1 hour of video production than they could in 2.5 on stage. Kind of makes my head explode. Curious to see what they say, curious to see what they have to offer, if there is anything in all of that. Coming up in just a minute, we're going to tackle 5G again because it's a thing that we do, although it's going to be in a really weird, really fun, sweet, almost sickeningly sweet, almost diabetes-inducing way. Got that for you in just a minute. But first, I do want to remind you about some other stuff that I do. I do a few other shows. If you have found this without knowing about macOS Ken, macOS Ken is a daily Apple news and news related to Apple News show. It comes out Monday through Friday. It is morning on the East Coast when it happens. How late in the morning? It depends on how late I started the night before. But Monday through Friday, look for it wherever you get podcasts. I also normally do a show called In a Few Minutes with a lot of guests, some people who write about tech, some people who work in tech, some fellow podcasters, some people who used to work in tech, a whole slew of people there. I say I usually do that because the first 2 days this week, I just kind of took off because Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'll have a different guest each day talking about some of the announcements from Apple's event, the high-speed event, which I don't know if you heard is happening tomorrow. Yeah, you heard it here first, which cannot possibly be true. And then I also produce a show for the security company Secure Mac called The Checklist. And that can be anything from 3 stories of technology news happening that week to interviews with people, either about their background in technology and information security specifically, or sometimes if there's a big story. Like, have you been keeping up with the multitude of stories now, prompted, I'm sure, by Marco Arment's update to Overcast? Marco is basically writing a thing so that if you listen to a podcast in Overcast, you can go in and see the different ways that that podcast is tracking you, the different networks or ad networks that it's associated with, and the kinds of information that it's collecting. Glad to say that none of the shows I'm associated with are doing any of that, because I basically do a sort of old-fashioned radio style sales, I think, with the people I do sales with. We're not doing dynamically inserted ads. We're not doing any kind of tracking anything. It's basically, hey, give me a minute to tell you about this thing at thisthing.com/macOSCan. Don't try that URL. It doesn't work. Anyway, those are 3 other things that I do. If you would check them out, that would be fantastic. Oh, and also please hit like and hit subscribe on this, because I haven't said that in about a month. Maybe a little less. Right. We've talked a few times here about how messed up, how confusing the 5G story is. The idea of 5G, the different layers, should I say, of 5G. See, I want to say layers of 5G now because of something that T-Mobile came out with this week. This was from an article that I saw in CNET, but I followed it to their press release. So T-Mobile has gotten together with Betty Crocker. Yes, that one, the cake people. T-Mobile has gotten together with Betty Crocker and done a promotion trying to explain 5G to people. And they're not saying it's a piece of cake. They're saying, think of it in layers. Now, personally, I would have gone with the tiramisu. But the thing is, the tiramisu has several layers. Might have also gone with the lasagna, but that's not sweet. What they've done is a layer cake instead. And though it is 5G, there are 3 layers to the cake they're talking about. Since the beginning, T-Mobile has pioneered a distinctive layer cake strategy to deliver a transformative network, nationwide, 5G network for all, dedicated spectrum across all 3 layers of 5G, low for far and wide coverage, indoors and outside, mid for broad coverage and blazing fast speeds, and high for super fast speeds over shorter distances for the best 5G experience. Guy from T-Mobile, Neville Ray, whose name I have heard, president of technology at T-Mobile, said, "We said it first and we'll say it again. T-Mobile's layer cake approach to 5G is the only way to 5G for all. Hell," he says, hell, we even bake a cake with Betty Crocker to celebrate it. And when it comes to 5G, you've got to have layers, low band, mid band, and high band. And he goes on from there. Now, what I appreciate about this, well, there are a couple of things. What I appreciate about this is, first of all, they sort of explain in layman's terms what they see the 3 layers as. So low band, which is the 600 megahertz 5G, is the firm base layer, they say. It travels far and wide to bring 5G speeds to more places across the US. And they say that their 5G network covers 250 million people across 1.3 million square miles. Obviously, it's a press release, so there's a lot of promotional stuff in there as well. I will also spare you the part where they're bashing AT&T and Verizon. Actually, I might not, because I did find that part kind of interesting. I just don't know how much to believe it, because it's coming from their only real competitor now, because T-Mobile and Sprint, of course, are merged. They're now T-Mobile. They're now T-Mobile. Sprint's just not a thing anymore. The mid-band layer, they say they have a major supply of ideal mid-band 5G spectrum, which is the 2.5 gigahertz, building on the 5G foundation that they talked about. That's that bottom layer that I'm talking about there. Super fast download speeds average around 300 megabits per second. That is 7.5 times faster than LTE today, with peaks of up to a gigabit per second. And then the high band, or millimeter wave, or wave, as I like to call it, especially when you're talking about cake. It's great for small, dense city blocks, they say, but doesn't travel far and gets blocked by things like trees, windows, and buildings, even the occasional umbrella. What they say about the AT&T and Verizon thing is basically, to get that low band, what AT&T and Verizon are going to do is actually borrow spectrum from 4G, from LTE, which you got to figure is where most of their customers are going to remain for the time being. So that's kind of an interesting thing. Here's how we end up talking about it anyway. They actually released a cake. It's gone. It's already gone. By the time I read about it, heard about it, it was already gone. You can go to t-mobile 5glayercake.com, and there's a page that says, "Oh no, we ran out. Sorry." Which is too bad, because I would love to have one of these. The press release actually has a picture of the box, which looks just like a Betty Crocker cake box, and it does have instructions on the back on how to make the cake, I think. I didn't really read that part. But the front, though, looks like all the nutritional things, but it's all stuff about, 5G. And it's got their fuchsia thing, and it's got this ridiculously layered cake with each layer saying what each layer of 5G is. It's the best thing I've seen so far explaining it. I'm still really interested in the fact that, okay, so that's AT&T and T-Mobile basically both trying to tamp down expectations for the highest level of 5G. T-Mobile does a great job of saying this is going to be better for a lot of people, but the really, really, really high speed stuff, that's going to be like if you're standing, like put your tongue on the antenna and you might get speeds that fast. And by the way, don't put your tongue on anything in public these days. Nothing. Probably shouldn't have been doing that all along, but really not. Okay. The guy from AT&T, of course, just sort of downplayed the whole thing. He was like, "I don't even know why customers would want this. I don't know why they're going to pay for it. I would imagine a lot of people are, but I don't know why." I find the T-Mobile thing interesting, although I am bummed that I get no cake. Right, so tomorrow's the thing. 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. Streamable just about everywhere. It is Apple's high-speed event. We know that the phone is going to happen. I'm kind of curious about that. Really, I'm curious, just like T-Mobile did here, are they going to make a case for why I actually want the thing? Or do I just want it because it's the next iPhone? Really, what I'm curious about is the ancillary stuff or the other things. Are we going to get an audio thing? Is there going to be a new service? Do we get release dates for Apple One, for crying out loud? Is there going to be an Apple TV announced? I mean, all kinds of stuff that could happen tomorrow. Very excited to find out what it is. I got a full day of shows tomorrow after that. So, of course, there'll be Mac OS 10 on Wednesday. We will get together here tomorrow and talk about whatever got announced. In fact, if you watch things and have something in particular that interests you or that excites you or that you want to talk about, please email me, info@macosken.com, 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 if there's a particular thing that you want us to hit here tomorrow. We'll do it at the same time, 3:30 in the afternoon. And then sometime after that, I'm actually joining Chuck Joyner for his show. I feel like I'm forgetting one. Oh, right. I have to produce in a few minutes for Wednesday as well with a very special guest to be named later, talking about what happened on tomorrow's event. So full day tomorrow. And I certainly hope you will come back and discuss it with me/us. If you are here live in the chat room, please stay. I'll read the stuff that you wrote and offer any commentary I have and read yours as well. Most exciting part for me, seeing what you guys had to say. And then, meet us back here tomorrow. Oh, yeah, catch Mac OS Con tomorrow morning and meet us back here tomorrow. It's basically just one long conversation. Thanks for being part of it. Talk to you soon. Okay. I'm going to stop that recording and then we can talk. We can chat. I will put on my glasses so that I can actually know what you're saying or what you said. I will also do what I used to call the romper room thing on Mission Log Live and say, I see Frank. I see Mike. I see Peter. Hey, Peter. I see Casey. I see Donna. Should I call her Donna? I don't know. Frank Petrie, ladies and gentlemen, with the one-liner, 5G isn't fully baked. Ba-dum-bum. Don't lick the bowl. You don't know where it's been. Webb was counting up. Second, then there was 3, because at one point there were 10. Now we're back down to 7. Tomorrow will be expensive. Well, only if you try to buy everything. I'm anticipating wanting to buy. I'm not anticipating parting with any money from anything they announce tomorrow. I've got my iPhone 11. I'll be fine with that for a while. Unless they say, and of course with a 5G iPhone, you can actually dance better. Because I can't dance for crap. But if I get a phone that... Interesting. Casey says that Beats got them existing license deals like Texture did for magazines. Wouldn't those have had to be renegotiated, though, when it was a new owner, Casey? Because I remember hearing that as well and thinking that. But I would assume that once ownership changed hands, do you just get to hold on to the license for 1.5 to 2 years? It's not a bad one, though. It also, though he's gone now, having Jimmy Iovine was not a bad thing at all. He was a great... he was a great ambassador for the brand, not only with the public who, had never seen anything like him tied to an Apple event, because boy, was he nothing like, the people that came out and talk at Apple events normally. But he also had all the ends at all the different, with the different record labels and with the different artists as well. I assume it's through Jimmy Iovine that we ended up with Trent Reznor there for a while, wasn't it? Although he's gone too. Webb Bixby wants to know, I don't know if he's asking me or asking everybody else, do you think they will talk about anything besides iPhone tomorrow? Yes, I do. I do. I don't know why I do. I think because of all the audio talk, honestly. But I could be wrong. Frank Petrie says he thinks there's going to be a November event for the ARM Max. Interesting. Yeah, we talked about that last week. I don't see why not. They could have shot the whole thing already against a green screen in Tim Cook's backyard. Yay for old school podcasts. Right, Casey? Man, who was I talking to about that the other day? Might have been when Brian Chaffin was on last week. It used to be you had an idea for a podcast, you'd start a podcast. Now you have an idea for a podcast, you contact a venture capitalist. I don't know any, by the way, so I'm done making new ones. The cake is a lie. That's cute. Interesting. Casey says he has a feeling that Jimmy Iovine was able to get the labels to hang on to the existing deals. Sure. Boy, there is a thing that I'm kind of curious about. I haven't gotten that much into the story yet. We might talk about it later this week. I don't know. So, Spotify thinks that Apple is terribly unfair and needs to be more open, right, with all of its information. There's apparently a service out there that will let you port your playlist from one service to another. So if I'm moving from Apple Music to Spotify, and again, this was a cursory read. It's going to be on tomorrow's macOS, Ken. This was a cursory read. If I'm moving my stuff from, let's say, Apple Music to Spotify, or Napster, which is what Rhapsody became, to Spotify, I can use this service and it'll transfer all of my playlists and all my stuff over there, right? Sounds great. Spotify's got no problem with that. Oh, unless you're trying to take your information from Spotify any place else. Spotify is actually blocking this company from doing that. And that doesn't sound so open world as Spotify likes to say Spotify likes it to be. Whatever. There we go. All right. I think I'm about done. Are you guys done? Anything else? Because I'm here. Not like you're waiting for me, but all right. I think we're good then. I'm going to go write tomorrow's macOS. Ken. Frank says good night. Good night, Frank. Sleep well. Up early tomorrow? Not early, because it's going to be, you're in the East Coast, so it's going to be like 1 for you. Although some days 1 is early for me. Anyway, thank you guys and gals, everybody who's here. I really appreciate it. Means a lot. I think I had said that I might go ahead and go big with this thing this week. And then I realized yesterday afternoon, I haven't done new art, I haven't done new promotion. So I think we're going to do one more week as this kind of being a quiet thing. Quiet. If you want to tell people about it, great. If you want to bring people in, great. I'm probably going to hit Twitter a little harder tomorrow saying we're going live at 3:30. I think this goes as like a real thing though next week. So anyway, Peter, you're awesome. Peter says, thanks. Great show. That just, I'm embarrassed. I gotta run. Take care.